Birdly, hello. Um, I'm happily doing you another reading, and um, very happily actually, because I'm feeling quite perky today. So far, today, I say today, it's only 6:15 a.m. And I was going to continue with Crow Country, of course, and I'm sure we'll make a very good effort at getting as far through that as possible. I'm not keeping count of how many I'm doing, of course. I'll just do them when you request, and when I find the the desire. Well, no, that's not true. I always have the desire. I just don't always have the physical means and mental means. So um, I have found something that I hope you'll like, um, as a sort of deviation. Um, it's something that I'm really happy to be reading properly, because I've had it a while and it deserves reading properly. Um, it's Ted Hughes's translation, reversioning, whatever. I don't know. Don't think he translated it. But I think he just uh, recreated it, from I beg your pardon, of passages from Ovid's Metamorphoses, um, and it's really splendid. Um, I felt like doing something poetic rather than prose. Uh, and we are, in the English language, extremely well served with versions of Ovid. Um, no less a person than Ezra Pound referred to a translation of Ovid by William Golding. Not the William Golding that immediately springs to mind, but a William Golding who was a 16th century, yeah, I think he was 16th century, 17th possibly, um, poet and dramatist. Anyway, Pound referred to that as as his favourite book in the English language. Um, and Pound was, no, not always right. No, in fact, he was as mad as a hatter, um, literally. Um, literally mad, not literally a hatter. Oh God, right. And anyway, he referred to that as his the greatest book in the English language. But that's not the version I'm going to read. This is Hughes's recreation of it, and I think this might become for me anyway, a YouTube reading favourite, because it incorporates masterful poetry, mythology, and issues of translation, which are sort of three of my minor obsessions. Um, I won't subject you to what I think about all of those things. I'll just read Hughes's words, or Hughes's refraction of Ovid's words, um, and I'm trying to find. Oh God, I'm useless. Um, something suitable. Well, bloody hell, everything in here is suitable. So let's just look at the index, see. various names that are of interest. Oh, these are all suitable for people I know. Midas, Niobe, Pyramus and Thisbe, that'll be lovely. The birth of Hercules and the death of Cygnus. I know somebody for whom the death of Cygnus will be ideal. Um, let's have no, not Pygmalion. Pygmalion will be good, but that's a one I haven't done. I haven't even prepared. I don't know anything about it, so it'll be as much of an exploration for me as it is for you. Let's have Arachne. I don't know who Arachne was exactly. There is a glossary. Let's have a look, because it might be useful to us both. I'm sure you know who Arachne is. Arachne. Oh god, this is going to be a huge file if I keep faffing around like this. And Arachne is not in the glossary. That's not very helpful. It's not. I first thought it might be Ariadne, but it isn't. Um, um, well, this will tell us who Arachne was, I suppose, if I read it properly, which I shall now try to do. Arachne, from Tales of Ovid, by Ted Hughes. Minerva, goddess of weavers, had heard too much of Arachne. She had heard that the weaving of Arachne equalled her own, or surpassed it. Arachne was humbly born. Her father laboured as a dyer of Phocian purple. Her mother had been humbly born, but Arachne was a prodigy. All Lydia marvelled at her. The nymphs came down from the vines on Tmolus as butterflies to a garden, to flock stunned around what flowered out of the warp and the weft under her fingers. Likewise the naiads of Pactolus left sands of washed gold to dazzle their wonder afresh on her latest. They swooned at all she did, not only as it lay done, but as each inch crept from under her touches. A grace like Minerva's, unearthly, moved her hands, whether she bundled the fleeces or teased out the wool, like Cirrus, or spun the yarn, or finally conjured her images into their places. Surely only Minerva could have taught her. Arachne laughed at the suggestion. Her sole instructor, she claimed, was her inborn skill. Listen, she cried, I challenge Minerva to weave better than I weave. And if she wins, let her do whatever she wants with me. I shan't care. Minerva came to Arachne as an old woman, panting and leaning on a stick. Some things that age brings, she began, are to be welcomed. Old experience teaches the thread of consequence cannot be broken. Listen to my warning. Give to mortals the tapestries the tapestries that make you famous and foremost among mortal weavers. But give to the goddess your gratitude for the gift. Leave it to her to boast of you if she wants to, and ask her to forgive. For your reckless remarks against her, she will hear, and she will be merciful. Arachne turned from her loom. She reared like a cobra, scowling, and came near to striking the old woman, her eyes hard with fury. As she spat at her, "Your brain totters like your decrepit body. You have lived too long. If you possess daughters or granddaughters, waste your babble on them. I am not such a fool to be frightened by an owl face and a few screeches. I make up my own mind, and I think I always did. If the goddess dare practice what she preaches, why doesn't she take up my challenge? Why doesn't she come for a contest?" As Arachne spoke, the old woman seemed to flare up to twice her height, crying, "She has come!" All the nymphs fell prostrate. And I'm going to pause, not stop, pause temporarily there. Bit of a Freudian slip there with prostrate and prostate. um, uh, I, well, I guess we do now know who Arachne was. Well, I do at least. Elements of hubris, of defying the gods, of the curse of creativity. Oh, unbelievably wise, isn't it? So let's add that to the list of things to do. Um, I'm sure you're better at keeping track of these things than I am. And obviously, yeah, arachnid. I now understand a little bit better. I was very slow, I'm sorry. Um, and it means that I now know that I have the perfect picture with which to illustrate this recording. I think you'll probably guess what I'm going to use. Well, actually, you can see what I'm going to use, so you don't need to guess. I don't know what you think about Hughes because of your admiration for Plath. This isn't the time to get into whose fault various tragedies may have been. I love him, and I've loved him ever since we were read some stuff at prep school when I was 7, I think. Oh, yes, right, before I get silly and melancholic, I shall leave it there. Thank you for listening if you did, Birdley. I wish you all the very, very best. Bye-bye for now.